Okay, folks, what I'd like to start with is to show you who's in the team. And I'm really delighted to have this cross-section of really great Rotarians. Julia Lewis, Dr. Julia Lewis, has joined us this year. And when I asked Julia if she'd like to join the team, there was no hesitation. She said yes, so welcome on board. And Carol Halliwell, past district governor of Cowbridge, can give us the benefit of her experience. And Maggie Hughes is an integral member of the team, and we reciprocate on both of our district groups. DGN Malcolm Halliwell, again, lots of experience from Cowbridge, and Robert Parker, who is in his second year with us. But what we'd like to encourage, though, is a couple of people to come forward from the north of the district and further west in the district, so as we can cover the whole of the district better than we are at the moment. Okay, next slide, Ian, please. Okay, what's happening this morning then? We're going to, following me, there will be a presentation from Tim Mason. And thank you for joining us, Tim, and more about Tim in a few minutes. Then we're going to cover the 3-year rolling plan, which Malcolm's going to present, and Julia, not Julie, Julia will actually do a presentation on digital marketing. Robert will end off with gazebos and the current position, how we're going to do that going forward. And if we have time, then we'll go on to Q&A. But first of all, let's look at some figures here. Just a few facts and figures, and I'll rattle through these because some of you already know this. We have got 1,210 district Rotarians. That's 3, I think, more than Mary said, because these figures are as from yesterday, which means that the district has grown by 13 since the 1st of July. Nice to see we've got 20 more female Rotarians, now 205, and the more the merrier, I say. Average age, 71.5 years approximately. That's slightly down, but not much on previous years. We have 57 clubs, 2 of which are 40 plus, the largest being 47, as you can see, and 8 clubs, which is the real growth area, who are between 30 and 40. Largest club, as I say, 47, smallest is 6. We've sort of introduced 2 new clubs, Ardal Aberystwyth and Cardigan Bay in the last 2 years, and 1 new satellite club, Windrush Valley, which is part of Rotary Llethley. Just to put this in context, the Rotary GBNI since the 1st of July has grown by 2,743 members, new members. However, 2,225 of those have left, which means that we are left with 518, which represents just under 19% of those that joined. So we've lost 80% of those that have joined since the 1st of July. That tells a story, doesn't it? Okay, next slide, Ian, thank you. So, I mean, the climate we're working in, and it's not just this district, it's all districts. We've got too few members, lots leaving, as I've just said. We've got lack of innovation and change. And if we don't do something about this, you know, what are the consequences of not doing things to improve? So the membership team have worked on an outline strategy, in fact, which has been signed off by the continuity group. And we want to base our work going forward on 3 pillars for progress. Retention, that's going to be a key for Rotary Great Britain and Ireland and for this district. And that's up to each and every Rotarian to ensure that they do retain, mentor and grow people when they join as a new Rotarian. Regeneration, that means not reinventing the wheel, looking at regenerating some of the clubs that have gone by the wayside over the last few years, some for reasons which we believe are worth going back to and seeing if we can regenerate them. And of course, recruitment. So 3 R's: retention, regeneration, and recruitment. So we want to establish a base point, then create a strategy, which we're well on the way to doing, and then develop an operational plan. How are we going to do it? Just a quick point about the base point. In an attempt to find out where clubs were, I sent out a very brief email asking clubs to come back to me on a number of points, which would help us to find out where clubs are. Sadly, folks, only 7 out of 57 clubs saw fit to respond. So you can see, we really do need your help, and I'm appealing to you to do that. Next slide, Ian. So I'm delighted then to introduce Tim. Tim and I have known each other for some time, and Tim has taken on the role of the direct membership and district hubs. And the concept you may well have heard of and may find it's a little bit confusing. So Tim has agreed to actually give us a very quick, brief rundown on what that is all about. He's got limited time, but I'm sure you'll give a big district welcome to Tim Mason. Hi, Tim.
Hello. Really great to be back here in Wales with you, because I spent 3 years training as a youth worker in Carmarthen. That youth worker role is relevant because in 1980, we had a car crash on our holiday. And when we got back to Aylsham in Norfolk, where I was a youth worker, 2 people invited me to join Rotary. The solicitor I went to actually get the claim going, and the garage who was going to repair my car. And since that time, I've been in 14 different clubs. Not that I've been chucked out, I'll add, but actually, because I was a youth worker, I moved around the country, and therefore, every time I moved, I had to be invited to join another club and join another club. And now, I describe myself like a tortoise. I carry my Rotary on my back because I was able to join Rotary as a direct member. So I don't belong to a club, I belong to the direct membership network of Rotary Great Britain and Ireland. And going back to your pillars, which I think is a great strategy, direct membership is about retention, regeneration, and recruitment. And I've been working with someone called Chris Garner to actually develop this piece of work, and I'm now the lead for direct membership in Great Britain and Ireland. So what does it mean? It means that if people are in clubs that might be going to close because they're lacking in members, you can now still stay a member of Rotary by becoming a direct member. And all you do is ask to become a direct member. I'll go on to talk about how that can be done within your district. So first of all, that enables us to retain people. You don't need to leave Rotary if your club is closing or you've had enough of your club or whatever. You can become a Rotarian and carry on that work. And just this morning, I shall be going off after I've given this talk to do my Rotary down the high street in an intergenerational hub that we're creating in the community, doing what actually Mary suggested, working with another organisation to help them do that. The other thing is, new people, busy people in the 21st century want to join very much a flexible and innovative Rotary. They haven't got time anymore to go to meetings, but they have got time to give their time for activities and projects. And so they are the people we should be trying to recruit to become just Rotarians to begin with. The one thing that's worried me about direct membership in Great Britain and Ireland was initially we had it just online, and I wanted people to actually experience true Rotary, active Rotary, physical Rotary. And so I've worked very hard now with the districts to help create district Rotary hub, district direct membership hubs. And your district has a hub. You're one of the early birds in district hubs. the idea of this is that direct membership is not an e-club. It isn't about doing Rotary online. It's about getting Rotarians who have joined directly as Rotarians to get involved in Rotary activities. And they can do this through your district hub. And they can still join in with Great Britain, Ireland and network right across the board. But the district hub will enable them to help your clubs that need help with projects and activities where you haven't got so many people. And if you do, my understanding Rotary, and I joined back in 1980, so I've been in Rotary a long time and in 14 different clubs. But my understanding of Rotary is if you do projects and activities together, you build relationships. So the idea of this is people will join Rotary to get involved with projects and activities that Rotary do, not be offered to join clubs, but actually get involved with what Rotary does and what it's good at doing in its communities. And then as you build those relationships, there might be an opportunity to invite them to join your club or come along to your club, but not necessarily join. Because I love actually not being a Rotarian in a club. It's so much more flexible. I can get involved in my hospital. I can get involved with dementia. I can get involved with mental health. But I also can help clubs that are actually running a quiz for Shelterbox. So I'm actually flexible in what I can do. And if we are going to attract new people to Rotary who actually haven't got a lot of time and just a small amount of time commitment they can give, then activities and projects will be a much better offer to them initially. And as we do that, we can build our relationships with them, and then we can invite them to the garden parties and what other things. But yes, make it fun. That is quite important. So your district has a hub, and what we want in that hub is we want you to share what you need help with, so direct members can get involved in your activities. We want you to actually help nurture new people, and we want you to encourage people who are thinking about leaving Rotary to join and stay in Rotary by being a direct member. I hope that explains it. If I haven't used any slides, I'm not very good at using slides. I just want you to understand, to me, this is a really exciting opportunity to use our ability to recruit people as Rotarians, to keep them and to get them involved in Rotary activities in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. I'm sure that we all find that very rewarding.
Peter, there's a question in the chat. Can I just ask Tim the answer to this? Does part of your membership fee go to the local clubs related to where you live? John from Swansea is asking that question.
If they join the district hub, the whole of the £120 a year they pay goes to the district, and it is up to the district how that is spent. Then some money has to come back for the subscription, Rotary's annual subscription, but the rest of the money stays in the district.
Right, and I've got one more question here, if that's okay, Tim. Philomena from Cardigan Bay would like to know, how can clubs share what they're doing to members in the hub?
They have to go back to their district hub coordinator, who is actually Peter at the moment. I think actually you could do with someone else. You need 3 people really in your district hub, but share it with Peter, and Peter will share it. There is a place in the network where Peter can share what's going on, and that's how we want to get people involved. One of the things, Mary, if I just may say, one of the things, if you don't remember anything else in this assembly, and I'm sure that's not what Mary wants, but one of the things, can you remember to start thinking about who can you start inviting to join Rotary? Because I meet so many awesome people out there and they just want to be invited to join Rotary.
I totally agree, Tim. That's the thing. And don't be afraid if they say no. And so many people say, oh, I can't join Rotary now. I'll do it when I retire. But keep asking them. I think that's the key to successful recruiting. Okay, Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tim.
And
That was brilliant.
yeah, that's great, Tim. And I'll be in touch with you very soon again. You heard about the 3 pillars. In broad terms, you're now going to have some more meat on the bones. I'd like to invite my colleague Malcolm to tell you more about what those 3 pillars actually mean in 23-24.
Good morning, everybody. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
really loud and clear.
Yeah, welcome everybody again from myself, Malcolm Halliwell, member of Cowbridge, and as you can see, just sat in the corner of the screen hiding away is Carol, who's also part of the membership team. Can I have the first slide, please, Ian? Right, so you can see we're looking at a 3-year plan, and which we can cover and look at everything that we are trying to attain within Rotary. Just one thought for everybody. Can you imagine, and listening to Gordon's presentation when he talks about where will the world be without Rotary, where would our own local communities be without the benefit of its Rotary Club? Now, what we're not looking to try and do is reinvent the wheel. We're looking to work within Rotary International's action plan, which I hope everybody knows about. But if you don't, please send me an email and we'll happily share it. But the 4 topics on the action plan are: increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, increase our ability to adapt. But can we do it on our own? No, we need your help to do it. And without your help, it's not going to work. Next slide, please, Ian. And what we need from you to start moving forward, last year we had 37 people who were club membership leads noted on DMS system. Please let us know who your club lead is, so at least we've got somebody to speak with. We need regular contacts with clubs via the AGs initially, but speak to us. We're here to help. We haven't got all the answers, and we talk about direct membership. We talk about various different levels of membership. The membership team is here to support your clubs. We will attend area meetings and we will come and talk to clubs. But the one thing that we would like is a contact with each new member. Just send us their name and a contact detail with their permission, obviously, under the wonderful 4-letter word of GDPR. But please, if we can get to new members and get them to understand what Rotary is about, not just within your community, but what it does worldwide, it will give them a far better insight. District Governor Mary mentioned the fellowships, and the fellowships are a wonderful thing to be involved with. And Karen and I, yes, remember Mary mentioned the gym fellowship, and Karen and I are both chair and secretary of that fellowship, but it gives us contact with people from all around the world on a regular basis. And yes, when we go to Melbourne, we'll be talking to some of those and sharing the odd tonic water, I think. But it's about what we can do together. Rotary is for people. Rotary is to get people involved. And the one thing, what we need from you is, please speak to us if you have membership issues. Not after the event, but before. So we can then try and get involved and assist. Next slide, please, Ian. And what can we give you? Well, I said, we want to support clubs. We will come and assist your membership drives. It isn't just about Rotary, it's about what we can do for all age groups. We talk about Rotarians and we need younger Rotarians. We need Rotarians of all ages, from the Rota kids who are starting off in primary school to Interact in the senior schools and Rotaract. Don't forget now, Rotaract is part of Rotary membership. And we are proud to have younger people around, but not just younger people. When I say younger Rotarians, I mean people joining for the first time. We can support you with literature funded by district. Not going to fund everything for you, but we can give you advice and show you the stuff that is available, which you can also do yourself by going on to the brand centre and the publicity side. It is our intention starting next year to have a membership summit. One, maybe two, into 2 different parts of the district if need be. I know the membership team are quite happy to travel and meet clubs and explain to them what can be done. And we can also supply speakers on various forms of membership. Let's not forget about corporate membership, which seems to have been spoken about for many years and not driven. The one corporate member I will always think about at different times is the one at Bentley Motors up in North Wales. Okay, it's based in Crewe, but it's still North Wales district. They started where the directors of the business got involved with Rotary because it helped with their corporate social responsibility. And then another one up in another district is a male voice choir. So it doesn't have to be businesses. It can be other organisations. We talk about partnerships. Partnerships can work. I know a number of clubs who, yes, because of our age range of 71.4 years, which is quite precise, Peter, which I was impressed with, we can't all go out and do the Santa sleighs, but some Rotary clubs are now starting to use other organisations to go and assist them with it. Now, what's better than to get Rotary's name out and sharing assistance with other organisations? And the main thing is the district membership team are here to help, not to hinder. The last thing any of us want to do is tell you what to do. District is here to support. Please use that resource. Please make sure that we are there doing what you want us to do. At the end of it, it's your Rotary, it's your district. We're just there to support. Thank you. And that is the final one. Working as one team will give District 1150 a brighter future. Teamwork success, the light bulb moments, and welcome to the future. Thank you, Peter.
Yes. You're muted, Peter.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Malcolm. You can see, folks, that there's a big to-do list for the marketing team, the membership team going forward next year. We've started the work already and we'll continue to do so. But we do need your help, as Malcolm said. And I'm very keen on retention and also on partnering. And now I'd like to introduce Julia Lewis from Henless, who's going to speak to us about her experience, her club experience on the digital marketing for membership. Julia, over to you.
Thank you very much, Bonadar. Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Peter, for the chance to speak about the fun that we had with the recent digital marketing campaigns. I've got a few slides. I will now try and, there we go. Okay, so our experience of the digital membership marketing. So if I could have the next slide, please. So I guess most of you are aware of the fact that the district went through this partnership work with InSync project. Obviously paid the company to do it. They had a lot of experience with the whole digital marketing world. And I just wanted to start off by setting the scene by outlining what that process was for the clubs that got involved in this project. So essentially, there was a very attractive, quite colourful social media advert that would pop up on platforms such as Facebook. And it was targeted to the sort of people who join Rotary. So there was clever background analysis of the sort of things that people on Facebook click on and look at. So these adverts would then be targeted at the people who you would think would probably be interested. And then if they were interested, they put in some very basic details, which was around their name, their email address, and their postcode, because obviously we needed to be able to sort those out on the basis of where they lived. And that information then automatically populated an online database that was managed by InSync, but which the membership leads for those clubs checked on a regular basis, and you would look to see, like, well, who have we got that's expressed an interest, and then you would send an initial email out to those individuals. So we called those respondents the leads. So we would send out an initial email to those leads. If they responded to the email, then we would invite them to either meet up with us in real life or have a telephone conversation. And then through that, we would invite them to the clubs or tell them about the options of satellite clubs, etc. If there was no response to the initial email, I would send them a second email. I never sent a third email because I thought that was starting to get a little bit stalky, and I thought that might put people off. And if we got a negative or a lack of response, sorry, to that second email, then kind of sat back a little bit. So that was the process. Next slide, please, Ian. 6 clubs took part in the second wave. So I've said results number 2. There was a first wave, but sorry, 6 clubs in the first wave, 5 clubs in the second wave. Nobody noticed this on my slide. So we were in there, Hentless, and the project ran between the 22nd of September and 30th of November 2022. 254 people clicked to say they were interested. 2 of the clubs got a really good response to these respondents, to these leads. And from that, 6 new members into those 2 clubs. Now, 254 clicks, 6 new members. You can kind of work out for yourself whether you think that's a decent return rate or not, but that was what actually happened. Next slide, please. So this is what happened with us, with Hentless. So I took on the role of membership lead. It was a good thing for me to get involved with because it meant a lot of digital work, and I don't live in Hentless, so getting involved in person in a lot of the things that the club do can sometimes be difficult for me. So this was a great way for me to get involved in the club. 28 leads, and they all got emails from me. It can be a little bit onerous to go into that database every day, but you did have to do it on a regular basis just so you could keep on top of what was happening. So from those 28 emails that I sent out, I got 12 responses. So how did those people then want to take it to the next step? Well, there were 3 people that just wanted to carry on the conversation via email. So one of those had a positive response to the first email, didn't respond to the second email. 2 people had a positive response and said that they would meet up, but we sent emails back and forth trying to find a convenient time, and we really struggled and couldn't meet up. One of those people, however, did come to a couple of our meetings, but after the second meeting emailed me and said, I think it's too big a time commitment for me, but thank you very much. There were 4 people that just wanted that initial contact by telephone, which is understandable in this day and age. People can be a little bit reluctant to meet up face to face with someone they've never met before. Of those 4 phone conversations, 1 person wasn't sure. I invited them to one of the events that we had coming up, but they didn't attend, and I had no further contact from them. 1 person attended one of the meetings, and then we had no further contact from them. And kind of on balance, I don't think Rotary was what he was looking for at the time, so that was kind of understandable. And then I put 1 + 2 became members because one of the contacts, we got 2 for the price of 1, they were a couple. So from the telephone conversations, we had 3 new members into the club. And then I had 4 face-to-face meetings. It was interesting where people wanted to meet. I gave people options. Some people we met in coffee shops, in public places, which is, I guess, you know, a much safer way of doing things. But there were a couple of people that were very happy to welcome me into their home, which was lovely. One of those face-to-face meetings, again, it was a couple, and they were considering lots of different groups to join. So they didn't come through as members. One individual came to meetings and is very, very interested because he had just retired from the prison service, but unfortunately he got pulled back into working in the prison service for 6 months and has moved away, but he's talking about coming back when he does move back to the area. One person felt it was too big a commitment at that particular time in her life, and one became a member. So overall, we had 4 members from the campaign. Next slide, please. For those of you wondering, what did that funny database look like? This was mine. I added a couple of columns to it so I could keep tabs on where I was with everybody. And the ones that are highlighted in red are the ones where we thought, right, that's no further contact for definite. The ones in green are the ones that had come through and started attending meetings. I've taken off the first 2 columns, which were the names and email addresses for data protection reasons. But as you can see, the postcodes were quite important because it was the postcode that enabled us to know that that individual was actually our area. So the database was quite a helpful thing for me, particularly being busy, working full time, to keep tabs on where I was with everybody. Next slide, please. So just 2 slides on reflections. Looking back on the actual process, it was a lot of work, and I think long term wouldn't have been sustainable probably, but for that short term project it was perfectly copable with. So it was important to check the database every day, and some days you could look at the database and there were 6 emails you needed to send off, and some days it was 1 or 2. I found there was a very fine balance between actively pursuing the leads and actually seeming like you were harassing people, and you had to hit that very fine balance. As I said, I found early on it was important to offer face-to-face or telephone, because if you offered face-to-face, I found a lot of people said, oh, can we just talk by telephone to start off with? So I started offering those 2 alternatives. We had some lovely, colourful, very succinct leaflets about Rotary that we could take with us. So I could always leave that with the individuals. And also, if I promised to get back to somebody on a certain day, you had to get back to somebody on a certain day, because otherwise, you know, what are you communicating to them? Actually, you're not that important to me. So you needed to follow through on things you said you would do. People needed you to be clear about what it costs up front, not so much what it costs from a financial point of view, but people wanted to know about time commitment. And I felt it was very important not to overburden people with an idea of you have to put this amount of commitment into it. And we are quite relaxed, informal at Hentley. So there is that sort of thing of, well, you know, if you're missing the odd meeting here and there, it's not the end of the world. And I think what we have to remember is generally it's busy people who join Rotary, because that's why we're interested in giving back in the Rotarian way. And what I have, which I am incredibly grateful for, is a very friendly, welcoming club, because as soon as I got those members or prospective members over the threshold, my lovely Rotarian colleagues took over and were so friendly and so welcoming and made people feel really important. And what then happened was the new people through the door became our missionaries as well, and they were very welcoming to the newer ones. Next slide, please. The approach I always took was not, this is what Rotary does, what can you give us? But it was very much about, what do you want to achieve? What is your aim? Why did you click that button? How can we fit with that? And discussions about traditional clubs and satellite clubs were part of that. But I actually found that everybody I met with was interested in our traditional club. And the retention thing keeps coming up again and again. You don't get them through the door and then forget about them. When I joined Rotary during lockdown, I had to Google things because there was terminology coming up that I really didn't understand, and getting kind of the district structure in my head. So I found that explaining all of that to people quite early on was quite important. I thought that in a bigger club, what you could do is, for the new members, is you could introduce some kind of buddy system, so they link up with someone, and possibly someone that joined recently themselves, So they feel they've got someone to, you know, ask the silly questions of. And always make sure they're part of the group communication. So we have WhatsApp groups. So when we're trying to work out what meals people are having at the meetings, it's all communicated in that group. Get them in that group as soon as possible, make them feel part of the whole thing. And I think that's the last slide. Yeah, Jill Conval, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Julia, for that. Why did we show that? Well, there was mixed feelings about the two campaigns, and I'd like at the outset to say I'm very grateful to Philomena and to Julian, both from Cardigan Bay, who actually took this up in the first place. And we learned a lot from the first campaign we did, and I know that in Cardigan Bay, as Philomena's put on chat, they had a very good experience. So folks, you can do this in your own club. If you've got somebody who's adept with Facebook or any social media really, you can actually get respondents by putting onto Facebook, not necessarily adverts, but just putting things onto Facebook. And that's how we've created the Satellite Club in Llanelli, by doing just that. So thank you very much, Julia. Julia is a relatively new Rotarian, and I think you can't help but be impressed about the speed of her learning. So thank you very much indeed. Finally then, could I ask Robert Parker from Abergavenny just to tell us about gazebos? You there, Robert?
Okay, yeah, can you hear me? Good, okay.
Can hear you.
Yeah, very quickly, because I'm conscious the time is slipping away. So I'm the new single point of contact for the booking out of the district gazebos. As I think everybody knows, we've got 2 such gazebos introduced last year. There's one based in the west and one in the east. In our club in Abergavenny, we actually used them 5 times last year, and they are absolutely superb. Can't recommend them enough. And we're about to use them again for two events we've got coming up. One tomorrow, which is a collaboration, it's a walk, and then we've got our steam rally. The gazebos come under the banner of membership, but they're really as much about public image as anything else, really. It's a great way of making sure you're promoting Rotary very effectively, because it gives you a great presence, because the Rotary brand is so strong. I will send some information round to everybody in the district via Peter, just to flag, I'm now the point of contact, and also the sort of schedule we've got between now and September. The gazebo, which is in the west of the district, has been booked out 9 times, and on the east, it's been booked out 5 times. So there's plenty of slots if you want it this summer. If you want one of these tents this summer. The only other question then, Peter, is about whether is there a demand for such a gazebo in the north of the district. That's a sort of question we'll gauge interest when I circulate that that information. And that's about it. That's all I'd want to say, really, Peter.
Okay, I hope I'm unmuted. Thanks very much, Robert. And I know Robert didn't say this, but it's could you, when you have the gazebos, return them clean, and also all the parts appropriate to each one, because they are slightly different. And I will, or the team will be putting a proposal to the district to buy another gazebo if we can find somewhere in the north of the district to store it. So that's about all from the membership team. Remember the 3 R's. We've got a great deal of work to do. As Malcolm said, we can't do it without you. So we're asking for your help and involvement, because if we don't have new members. We don't have Rotary in the future, and it's our legacy that we are concentrating on. Thank you, Mary, and we from the membership team, we hope you have a great year, and we're alongside.
Thank you so much for that. Thanks to all the members of the membership team for that very comprehensive report this morning and presentations. I'm sure that people really appreciated seeing the detail of some of the different types of membership, and thanks particularly to Tim Mason for coming along and telling us about direct membership.